Hey guys, how y'all doing? I forgot to look for something. This girl, hope I remember to how y'all doing? We're still on Taurus, Scorpio's eclipses, April 30th and May 16th. This one is eclipses and the summer solstice, Haitian, New Orleans, and Benin, Benin, Africa. Did I put Africa? Cancer and Scorpio, tarot reading. Okay. Hey, Cancer, Scorpio. What I want to put? How eclipse affect. Okay. Okay. First, I want a continuation from the other video, and I want to start with the Sumerians. Okay. Sumerians. Um, they're called Summer. Sumer. Mesopotamia. I said it earlier. Mesopotamium. Mesopotamia region of the Fertile Crescent, situated between the Tigris and the Euphrates River. So they between the Tigris, because they talk about them a lot. Okay, we'll talk about them. They are West Asian. Picture of a black man with a big nose, little lips, eyes made like they do. Most historians have suggested that the Sumer was first permanently settled between 5500 and 4000 BC by the West Asian people. Why do they put the lowest number first? I mean, highest number first. Why not? And this is research I'm doing and kind of inner knowing. So everybody have to research for themselves. So don't take my word verbatim, but I did a lot of research. Okay. By West Asian people who spoke the Sumerian language, pointing to the names of cities, rivers, basic occupation, etc., as evidence in non-Semitic and non-Indo European agglutinative AGGLUTINATIVE language isolated. The earliest known civilization of the historical region of the southern Mesopotamia, south central Iraq, emerging during the Chalcolithic and early Bronze Ages between the 6th and 5th millennium BC. It is also one of the first civilizations in the world, along with ancient Egypt, Elam, and the Caral/Supe civilization, and the Indus Valley civilization, the Minoan civilization in ancient China, living along the valleys of the Tigris and Euphrates. Sumerian farmers grew an abundance of grain and other crops, the surplus from which entitled them to form urban settlements. Proto-writing dates back before 3000 BC. The earliest texts come from the cities of UK and Jemdetenasr and date to between 3500 and 3000 BC. General location on the map: main cities, ancient coastline near the UR in ancient times. Near East, Middle East. Okay. AKKADIAN Empire. We talked about them before. AKKADIAN Empire. Okay. Sumerians, small head, lips, the whole 9 yards. Left scripture of the head of Sumerian ruler, Gudea. Okay. Black-headed ones, the black-headed ones. CK. See. Is a native destination for the Sumerians. The first is the pictographic character for the head. The second, the character for night and for black when pronounced. Akkadian. Okay. Is the name given to the language spoken by the Sumerians, the ancient non-Semitic speaking inhabitants of southern Mesopotamia, by their successors, the East Semitic speaking Akkadians. Oh, got it here. The Sumerians themselves referred to their land as Kengir, Kengir, the country of the noble lords. Okay, country. As seen in their inscriptions. The origin of the Sumerians is not known, but the people of Summer refer to themselves as black-headed ones or black-headed people. Uh, for example, the Sumerian king Shulgi described himself as the king of the four quarters, the paths of the black-headed people. The Akkadians, also called the Sumerians, black-headed people, are Salmatquada, SalmatQuadi, the Semitic Akkadian language. Akkadian word summer may represent the geographical name in dialect, but the phonological development leading to the academic term summer is uncertain. Hebrew, Syria, Sinar, Egyptian, Sngr, and Haiti, Sanhar, all referring to southern Mesopotamian, could be Western variants of summer. Interesting. Origins. Most historians have suggested that Sumer was first permanently settled between 5500 and 4000 BC by a Western Asian people who spoke the Sumerian language, pointing to the names of cities, rivers, basic occupations, etc., as evidence. A non-Semitic and non-Indo-European agglutinative language, Agglutinative, isolated. In contrast to its Semitic neighbors, it was not a flicted language. BLAU monuments combine proto-cuneiform characters, all illustrated of early Samaritans. JEMDTNASR period 31,2700 BC British Museum. They got everything, don't they? Others have suggested that the Sumerians were a North African people who migrated from the Green Sahara in the Middle East and were responsible for the spread of farming in the Middle East. However, with evidence strongly suggesting the first farmers originated from the Fertile Crescent, that suggestion is often discarded. Although not specifically discussing Samaritans, Laridus, its Lazaridis 2016 have suggested a partial Northern African origin for some pre-Semitic cultures of the Middle East, particularly Netufans, after testing the genomes of Netufia Natufian, and pre-pottery Neolithic culture barriers. Alternatively, a recent genetic analysis of four ancient Mesopotamian skeletal DNA samples suggests an association of the Sumerians with Indus village civilization, possibly as a result of ancient Indo-Mesopotamian relations. According to some data, the Sumerians are associated with the Hurrians and Uritans. A Caucasus is considered their homeland. Hurrins and Urartians and Caucasus. Prehistoric people who lived in the region before Sumerians have been termed the Proto-Uranians, Euphratans, and Ubaidans, and are theorized to have evolved from the Sumeria culture in northern Mesopotamia. The Eubanese, though never mentioned by the Sumerians themselves, are assumed by modern day scholars to have been the first civilizing force in summer. They drained the marshes for culture, developed trade, and established industries including weaving, leatherwork, metalwork, masonry, and pottery. Oh, okay. So they masonry. Okay. Hmm. Some scholars contest the idea of European language or one substrated language. They think the Sumerian languages may originally have been that of the hunting and fishing peoples who lived in the Martian land and the eastern Arabia, Ilotor, Littoral region, and were part of the Arabian bifacial culture. Reliable historical records begin much later. There are none in summer of any kind that have been dated before early dynastic. Juris Zorar, Jurizarins, believes Sumerians lived along the coast of eastern Arabia. Today's Persian Gulf region, okay, before it was flooded at the end of the Ice Age. Interesting. Sumerian civilization took form in the URUK period, 4th millennium BC, continuing to early dynastic periods. The Sumerian progressively lost control to Semitic states from the northwest. Sumer was conquered by the Semitic speaking kings of the Akkadian Empire around 2270 BC, short chronologue, but Sumerian continued as a sacred language. Native Sumerian rule emerged for about a century in the third dynasty or UR at approximately 21,000, 200,000 BC, but the Akkadian language also remained in the use of for some time. The Sumerian city of Urdu, Eridu, on the coast of the Persian Gulf, is considered to have been one of the oldest cities, where three separate cultures may have fused. That the peasant, pleasant Ubidan farmers living in mud brick huts and practicing. Oh, okay. Yeah, it was getting cold. Um, okay. Emerged from about the century of the third dynasty, approximately where I stopped. Farmers living in mud brick huts and practicing irrigation. That the mobile, nomadic, Semitic pastoralists living in black tents and following herds of sheep and goats. I wonder is that the black-footed people, black-footed Indians today. Interesting. And following herds of sheep and goats. Okay, so they on the sheep and goats. And that the fisher folk living in the reed huts in the Martian land, who may have been ancestors of the Sumerians. Oh, there we go. Phone want to do his thing. Phone want to do his thing. Waiting on the phone do his thing. Just trying to find info, y'all. That's all I'm doing. So they're Asians, West Asians. Interesting. Okay, come on now. Close you up. Let me close you up either. Turn you off then. What civilization existed before the summer? I know a little bit about Jericho and Catholic, Cathalhoyuk, but I'm not too sure about anything else and can't find too much around the internet. In the Horizon worlds, you can do everything from shooting hoops. Somebody else doing something. Welcome to. Okay. Summer is the first civilization. Archaeologists have used many definitions of civilization over the years, but today most use it to mean urbanized state level societies. A civilization has all the following cities, blah, blah, blah. Okay. By the first definition, the first civilizations were Sumer and Egypt. People were farming in northern Iraq by 8000 BCE, and the city of Urda had a mud brick temple. Okay, so they're just kind of likewise, people farmed along the Nile River by 5000 BC and Upper Egypt in the south, considered by several prehistorical kingdoms. The first pharaoh of unified Egypt ruled about 3000 BC. There was no civilization before Summer. Summer became a civilization in approximately 3000 BC. Egypt evolved intentionally as a civilization around the same time. What about humans before Summer? Modern humans, Homo sapiens, evolved before 100,000 years ago. They lived as roving bands and hunters gathered until they learned to form approximately 10,000 BCE. The inhabitants of, let's see that word, Abuhureyra, mounted in Syria, hunted gazelle to the exclusion of almost any other name. They also lived off about half a dozen staple grasses, but knew of at least 200 others for eating, medical, and ritual purposes. To a considerable extent, they were managing and tending their environment well before they domesticated plants. Abba H began as a small village around 10,500 BC, flourished until 6,000 BC. Jericho on the West Bank, Israel and Palestine, is indeed one of the most important antiqual sites that teaches us about the change settled agriculture. So, Jericho, West Bank, Israel, Palestine. Underneath extensive Iron Age, Bronze Age occupation layers, Eon unearthed two much earlier farming settlements with substantial houses. The earliest of these, dating to earlier than 9000 BC, was a cluster of beehive-shaped huts. Yeah, I seen that, and that's over here in America. Okay, let's see. The closest packed dwellings nested inside a rock-cut ditch, nearly 9 feet deep, and a well-built stone wall completed a tower with towers. So Iron Age and Bronze. The fortifications of this large village, which covered nearly 100 acres, are a mystery. They were either built for the defense. Jericho lies astray at strategic route from the coast to the desert, or perhaps of flood control works. After farming developed in Southwest Asia, it spread to Europe by 7000 BC. We know less about farming in East Asia, but anthropologists believe wild rice collectors in Yansan, Yang Tiz, Yangtiz village turned to deliberate cultivation between 7 and 5 BC. Anthropologists believe Mesoamerican, Mesoamericans, domestic squash by 800. People may have domesticated maize in the Mexican lowlands by 5000 BC. The Andrians, Andeaens, tamed quado and potato earlier. Okay, but what about art, culture, religion, brutal burial practices, and other elements of proto-civilization? Sometimes between 4,000 and 3,000 years ago, Europeans first began making ornaments such as beads, pendants, animal teeth adorned their persons, and about the same time, Co CRO Magnos, Magnos, modern European families, humans, started planting images of animal signs and anthropomorphic ANTHROPOMORPHIC figures on cave walls. So these were the cavemen, right? Cro-Magnons were brilliant artists in stone, altar, bone, clay, iron, and probably wood. The Pro-Ammons are most famous for their rock art paintings and engravings deep in the caves of southern France and Spain. Humans had developed idea of kin ties and supernatural by 18,000 years ago. During the summers, neighboring groups came together at specific locations where game or salmon were abundant for a few weeks a year. At these times, group arranged marriages, performed initiation ceremonies, and practiced art carvings and deep in the cave. Practiced highly intense rituals and involved the ancestors and forces of the spiritual world to ensure community of life. Shamans told tales and wolf spells. So, yes, shamans. Where did the Sumerians? What did I put? There's no civilization before the summer. Summer became civilized in approximately. Okay, we got that. Who are the ancestors of the Sumerians? A group of Semitic people called the Akkadians settled north summer along the Tigris and Euphrates River. We got that. Akkadians adopted very quickly the culture, religion, and writing of the more advanced Sumerians who had preceded them. Okay. The Sumerians were one of the earliest civilizations. Their group and expansion were dependent on the rich river valley farmlands. They were not as fortunate as others in terms of mining resources or structural position, however, and did not enjoy the long reign of the Egyptians. The Sumerians are considered one of the most important early cultures. Nevertheless, because of many advanced attributes to them, because their local location was weak in terms of defense and poor in terms of resources, they were forced to innovate. In many ways, they were important to history because of their innovations than the much rich Egyptians. Summers were the southern Mesopotamian meeting between the rivers, where the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, okay, where that, flowing into the Persian Gulf. Farmers, okay, where that. The early settlers learned how to control some of the flooding with dikes and how to irrigate their summer fields. Okay. Trying to see if this I already said, repeat what I just said. This made them tempting targets when more powerful and warlike neighbors came to existence. Sumerians grew wheat, barley, peas, onions, turnips, and dates. They raised cattle and sheep, fished and hunted wildfowl along the river. Food was generally abundant, and populations grew accordingly. There was no copper in the river valleys, but copper was found in the mountains to the east and the north. The Sumerians learned how to obtain copper from ore to make bronze. They traded food, clothes, manufactured itself by raw materials such as timber, copper, and stone. The merchants traveled up the Tigris and Euphrates to trade with the people of Atalia and Mediterranean coast. They also traded in Persia Gulf for items from India and for the East. Sumerians worshiped hundreds of gods, with each city having its own patron deity. Principal gods were too busy to bother with the plot of individuals. For that reason, each Sumerian worshipped a minor god or goddess who was expected to interact with the major gods. Sumerians did not believe in heavenly afterlife and were realistic about the limits of human goodness. They accepted that although the gods were above question, they were not always kind. The soul and center of each city state was its temple to the patron god. The Sumerians believed that the god owned the city state and the Samaritans or their slaves formed part of the land directly for the gods. Okay. The remaining land was farmed by the temple staff or by farmers who paid rent to the temple. Rents and offerings paid for temple operation and supported the poor. Slaves were an important part of the community and were one objective of any military campaign. Even locals could become slaves to satisfy debts. Slaves could work extra hours and use any savings to buy their freedom. Government. Each city in Samaria was ruled at first by a council of elders, although a war leader called Lugo, Big Man, was selected to lead the army during conflict. Eventually, the Lugas, Lugas, assumed power as kings and established dynasties. Evidence suggested that the Sumerians may have taken the first step toward democracy by electing a representative assembly. This consisted of two houses, a senate of important citizens, and a lower house made up of those available for military duty. Preserved clay tablets reveal that the Sumerians maintained courts of justice where people could expect a fair trial. One tablet recorded the oldest murder trial in known history. Most of the food production and distribution was controlled through the temple. A noble class arose based on land ownership, control of trade and manufacturing. Most trade and manufacturing were outside the temple's control. Okay. Okay. Go to, yeah. That's good. The Watchers of Satan El, the fallen angels tradition in 2 syllabic Enoch. Okay, this is okay, Enoch. They became servants of Satan and led astray those who dwell upon the dry ground. These are the watchers who turn aside from the Lord, 200 Madrids, together with their prince Satanel. Okay, we got Enoch, we got Satan, select watchers. Introduction. The first part of 2 Enoch, a Jewish written in the first century, deals with the heavenly ascent of the seven antediluvian Antediluvian hero carried by his angelic psycho prompts to abound the deity, slowly progressing through the heavens while receiving detailed explanations of their content from his angelic interpreters. In one of them, the patriarch encounters a group of the fallen angels, whom the authors of the Apocalypse designated as the Gorgor are the Watchers. Girgori. The detailed report of the group's transgression given in chapter 18 of the text, which mentions the angelic descent on Mount Hermon, leading to subsequent corruption of humanity and procreation of the race of the giants, invokes the memory of the particular features well known from the classic description of the fall of the infamous celestial rebels given in the Book of the Watchers. This early Enoic booklet unveils the misleads of the 200 Watchers led by their leaders. Shemihaza and Asael. What is striking, however, in the description given in the Celebronic Apocalypse is that in contrast to the classic Enoch account, the leadership over the fallen watchers is ascribed not to Shemhelaza or Asael, but instead to Setanel. This reference to the figure of the negative propagandist of the Adamic story appears to be not coincidental. The carefree examination of other details of the fallen angels traditions found in the Solic Apocalypse unveils that the transference of the leadership over the watchers from this as two words, them two names, Shem and Ashel, to Satanel, represents not a coincidence, slips of pen, or a sign of lack of knowledge of the authentic tradition, but an intentional attempt of introducing an Adamic development into the framework of the Enoch story, a move executed by the authors of Salvic Apocalypse with a certain theological purpose. I previously explored the influence of the Adamic story on the Enoch account of the Salvic Apocalypse, especially in the materials of the longer recension, noting an unusual readiness of its author for the adoption of tradition and modifies from the Adamic trend, a tendency which appears to be quite surprising for a Second Temple Enoch text. Indeed, Adam's story occupies a strikingly prominent place in Enoch. The traditions permanently to the first human can be found in all the sections of the book. In these materials, Adam is depicted as a glorious angelic being, predestined by God to be the ruler of the earth. But falling short of God's expectation. Although the bulk of Adamic materials belongs to the longer recension, which includes, for example, the lengthy Adamic narrative in chapters 30-32. The Adamic tradition is not confined solely to this recension. And never reported Adamic passages are also attested in the shorter recension. The extension percents of Adamic materials in both recensions and their sufficiency of the theology of the Solomonic Apocalypse indicates that they are not later interpolations, but are part of the original layer of the text. It should be noted that such an extensive presence of Adam materials in the intertestamental Enoch text is quite usual. In the early Enoch circle reflected, Adam does not figure prominently. His presence in his material is marginal and limited to a few insignificant remarks. Moreover, when the authors of the early Enoch and broke the memory of Adam and Eve, they tried to either ignore or soften the story of their transgressions and fall in the garden. Scholars previously noted this remark lenience of the Enoch writers toward the mishap of the protological couple in the text concerned with judgment and accountability. This either modest or unusually positive profile which the protoplasts enjoy in the early Enoch cycle can be explained by several factors. Okay, yeah, it's getting boring. The early Enoch tradition bases its understanding of the origin of ego in the Watcher's story, in which the fallen angels corrupt human beings by passing on to them various celestial secrets. In contrast, Adam tradition traces the source of evil to Satan's transgression and the fall of Adam and Eve in Eden, the trend which is hinted at in Genesis 3 and then fully reflected in the primal Adam books, which explain the reason for Satan's demotion of his rejection to obey God's command to venerate a newly created protoplasma. When an early uh, yeah, boring. The Watchers in the Second Heaven, Traces of Enoch template. Oh my God, it's bored for me. Anunnaki. AUN holding the Semitic Holy Grail of bloodline he created. So ANU, Holy Grail of the bloodline he created. I got a lot of this information in a lot of my other videos. I can't remember. I wrote so many. British Museum has it. Anunnaki are a group of deities in the ancient Mesopotamian cultures, Sumerian, Akkadian, Assyrian, and Babylonian. The name allegedly means something to the effect of those of royal blood or princely offspring. A widespread late but probably false etymology is that the name derived from the union of heaven with the earth, ANU, and with the earth, KI. A widespread late but probably false etymology is that the name derived from the union, okay. Their relation to the group of gods known as the Igi is unclear. At times, the names are used simultaneously, but in the Atara, ATRASHASIS, flood myth, the Igi are the sixth generation of gods who have to work for the Anunnaki, rebelling after 40 days and replaced by the creation of humans. Okay, we read that. Igi was a term used to refer to the god of heaven in Sumerian mythology, though sometimes synonymous with the term Anunnaki. In one of the myths, the Igi were the younger gods who were servants of Anunnaki until they rebelled, blah, blah, blah. The Anunnaki appeared in the Babylonian creation myth, Enuma, Enuma, in the late version magnifying Merodach after creation of man, derives Anunnaki assigns them to their proper station 300 in heaven, 300 on the earth. In gratitude, the Anunnaki, the great gods, built Esagil, the splendor. What is that? Asagala, Asagila, the splendor, the splendid. Love is a man in splendor thing. Remember that? They raised high the head of Asaga, equaling APSU, having built a stage tower as high as Aspa. They set up in it and adorned the Marduk, one of the brothers, Enlil and Ea. Then they built their own shrines. Anunnaki are mentioned in the Epic of Gil's, Gilgamesh. When UNAP UTNAPISHTIM tells the story of the flood. The seven judges of hell are called Anunnaki, and they set the land aflame as the storm is approaching. Mm. Thinking about California. According to later Assyrian and Babylonian myth, the Anunnaki were the children of Nun and Ki, brother and sister gods. Themselves the children of Asner, and Kishar, celestial poles. Sky Privy, SK, provide SKYPIVOT, and Earth PIVOT, the celestial pole. Who in turn were the children of Lemon and Lemon, the muddy ones. LAHAMU and LAHMU, the muddy ones. Names given to the gatekeepers. ABZU, House of Four Waters. Temple at ERIDU, the site at which the creation was thought to have occurred. Finally, Lahamu and Laham were the children of Tiamat, goddess of the ocean. Tiamat, however they said, goddess Tiamat of the ocean. Careful what you name your kids. And ABZU, God of fresh water. Nephilim, Anunnaki, royal bloodline creators, those who from heaven and earth came. The Sumerian king list allegedly recorded all the rulers of the earth over 4,000 years who were said to be gods, demigods, or immortals, or one soul playing all the roles. Really? Wow. In Sumerian mythology, Anunnaki were pantheon of good and evil gods and goddesses deity who came to Earth to create the human race. According to some resources, these gods came from Nibiru, planet of the crossing. That's okay. We read that called okay. Lifespans were Anunnaki lifespans were 120 scars, which is 120 times 3,600 or 400,332 years. Hmm. According to the King list, 120 scars had passed from the time the Anunnaki arrived on Earth to the time of the Great Flood. The West Band's wrist watchers were derived from the communication, teleportation, recording a human experiment, and more. The Anunnaki were the shining ones and the watchers. According to ancient alien theory, the Anunnaki and other alien groups came to Earth and seeded the human race in many variations. These researchers were led by ZEHARAISITCHIN and ERICHONDANIKEN and many others you can see on the History Channel series Ancient Aliens, also found on YouTube. Physical evidence of ancient astronauts is found throughout the planet, leading one to conclude that different races visited here at different periods on Earth's history are the same aliens returned and set up various programs, civilizations in which they could remain and experience. These would include Middle East, Egypt, India, China, Greece, Mesoamerica, and other ancient civilization, mythical civilizations. The Sumerian gods and goddesses listed below went by many names within this pantheon and others in all ancient civilizations. There are always heritage, deity, and a connection to ancient aliens who visited the planet and created humans through the consciousness behind reality. They created everything in an illusion of time. In other words, we are experienced the matrix. Now, if they created us, why did they come down and had make love with the sons of men of the women down here? So it had to be women already here. Remember when I was talking about the um, not draconian, the reptilian lady said that her records show that there are already humans here, and her ancestors were trying to take over the earth, but they fought them and created the ice age. This relief in British Museum shows that Sumerian god Nutra, also known by other names, and a gateway, Stargate portal. His father was Enel, I'm saying it wrong, and his mother, Nuel. Nur is very clearly using his index finger to push something on the wall. He wears two wrist devices, one used for time travel. The emblem around his neck matches the design of the Knights Templar. Hmm. Sumerian gods create bloodlines, seeding the tree of life with a device. The entity wears a bird-headed mask, and feels feminine. Both arms have wrist devices used for time travel. So I guess this is where we get watches from, huh? Encoding grids, teleportation, and communication. Creation by sound. OAB Bala, tree of life. Sacred geometry and consciousness. Mura Madzia, Mahura Madza, overseer of earth. Higher extraterrestrial intelligence. Z Zoroaster. Lion's tail, phoenix. Sophia, male or female? What the fuck? Girl, are you trying to tell me something? The four primary gods, Inca, Ea stands in his water home, the Apsu. Inca walks out of the water to the land, attended by the messengers, Isimud, who is readily identifiable by his two faces looking in opposite directions, duality. Inca stands with the gods and the initiates, water of life flowing into the laboratory. Glassware indicates the alchemic circulations, the creation of the first human. Laboratory vessels symbolize the bloodline of the tree of life. Handing the water, liquid blood of life, at a genetically engineered human. Humans are a hybrid species. You have to mix it with something else. Can't be hybrid unless it's mixed with the original or it's mixed with other species, right? Ea, Inca, was a deity in Sumerian mythology, later known as Ea in Babylonian mythology. The name Ea is a Sumerian origin, is written by means of two signs signifying house and water. Inca was a deity of water, intelligence, creation, and lord of Apsu, the watery abyss, creation of myths. The main temple of Enki was the so-called ENGUR-RA, the House of the Water Deep, NERIDU, which was the wetlands of the Euphrates Valley at some distance from the Persian Gulf. The cradle civilization. His name is possibly an Ebolite, Epithet, bestowed on him from the creation of first man, Adam, Adap, Adap, Adapa, Adapa. He was the leader of the first sons of Anu who came down to earth, playing a prevalent, pivotal role in creating humans, then saving them from Dulug, Delug, according to Sumerian mythology. Okay, that's enough of that. And I heard, when I did my research a long time ago, I remember that the people, I'm not sure, I'm just my research, that the women that were here were called Andrometers, and Andromeda. I remember they played that on the movies and stuff, but then Andrometers, I don't know if they were the fallen angels or one of the fallen angels, women, um, or the humans that were here. And I remember they were talking about they were the ones that the Anunnaki fought against when they came to Earth and tried to take over. So here's some stuff about them. Ancient Greek myths for kids. Andromeda, Perseus, and the sea god Poseidon. Andromeda was a daughter of a king, but she was not spoiled at all. Andromeda was as kind as she was beautiful. She was even more beautiful than her mother, and lovely Cassiopeia, Kssiopeia. Andromeda lived in the city by the sea. She was very happy. Everything was going along swimmingly until one day Andromeda's mother went too far with her boasting. Her mother boasted about Andromeda all the time. Her mother insisted that she was the most beautiful child ever born, except for Aphrodite, of course. Okay, we've seen that on Clash of the Titans. One day she boasted that Andromeda was more beautiful than any of the gods' daughters, except for Aphrodite, of course. The trouble started when someone told Nereids what she had boasted. The nearest were, whatever the name, were the daughters of the sea of god Poseidon. Poseidon told his mother all the time that they were more beautiful than seashells. Who could possibly be more beautiful than seashells, except for perhaps Aphrodite? They whined to their father about it and whined and whined about the sea and sent a huge sea serpent to devour the entire population, thinking that would certainly shut his daughters up. The people were terrified. The flood had caused great discomfort. Even after the flood waters receded, the monster kept nibbling at people. You never knew when he was going to pop up. He had not eaten anyone yet, but he kept trying. The people were very unhappy. The king asked the local oracle what he could do to put a stop to things. The oracle told him he had to sacrifice his beloved daughter Andromeda if he wanted to save his city. It saddened him greatly. The king ordered his daughter to be chained to a tree on a cliff that overlooked the sea. That day, the hero Perseus was out adventuring. He sailed past just as the king's servant was chaining the terrified Andromeda to a tree at the edge of the cliff. Perseus fell in love immediately. As soon as the servants left, Perseus rescued Andromeda, using his magic sickle to cut the chains. Just then, the giant sea serpent reared his ugly head and reached for Andromeda. Andromeda screamed. Perseus, who was still holding his magic sickle, chopped off the serpent's head. Naturally, after that, Andromeda loved Perseus and as much as he loved her. Perseus wanted her to sail away with him immediately, but Andromeda was insisting that her first ask her father permission to marry him. She could not feel right about marrying anyone without him. Okay. Okay, now we go to Andromeda, forgotten woman of Greek mythology. One can find Perseus, one of Greek mythology's most famous heroes, intertwined in the narratives of two ironic women. However, his story takes center stage, overlaps take place within a short period. He takes drastic alternate actions toward the woman by destroying one but saving the other from destruction. Both women are ultimately innocent, but as ever, context, timing, and perspective are the elements that mark the difference. Medusa was de- decapitated after a long tale wrapped up in abuse, shame, and punishment. Andromeda was volunteered for sacrifice to Cetus, a Pictus sea monster, through no fault of her own. The similarities between the two are startling in each one's case. Her reputed beauty leads to her downfall. The punishment for Poseidon, possession of this most precious gift aside from objectification is the ugly fate of eat or be eaten. Another similarity they share is the ways their stories have been told throughout the history. Medusa was most beneficial to the canon towards the end of her life, post downfall and conventional nasty. Andromeda's lot is more subtle, but the recent research that points to this alternate narrative indicates that she too was a tool that offset a beloved hero's and admirable qualities. I think this is still degrading the women. You know, you be beautiful, you get mocked, you get, it's a lose lose situation. Fallen angels and Andromeda. Now at a point in time history, mankind on his sphere of excellence, we had gods walking against us before they fell into the abyss of the Milky Way galaxy. The numerous NEPHILIMS, here are a few of them that what they taught us. ARAQIL taught us geometry. KOKABIEL taught us astrology and the constellations and stars. BARAQIEL taught us astrology. EZEQEEL taught about the nubula. SHAMSIEL taught the signs of the sun. SARIEL taught about the course of the moon. The fallen angels for Andromeda galaxy. Okay. And at the point in time in history of mankind on the spirit of excellence, we had gods walking amongst us before they fell into the abyss of the Milky Way galaxy. The Nephilims here are few of them and what they taught. Okay, they did that. Okay. See, you keep repeating this there. Hmm. Okay, that's all of it. Let's see what I have wrote down. Mental health causing to keep you slaves, all males clones, AI. The Bible dragon cast out of heaven. This is the devil war of God's dragon. Okay, this no, I wasn't gonna say that yet. That I'm not supposed to be yet. Right? No. I know, yeah, I know. Boring as fuck. If anybody listen, whatever. Why do we celebrate the summer solstice? The summer solstice is almost upon us. Days are longer, nights are shorter, and the natural world is full of life. But what actually is a solstice? And why do we mark them in the way that we do? Read on to find out. First things first, the term solstice can be tracked back to the Latin word solstitum, combining the words sol and meaning sun, and stit or stes meaning standing or sitting. The name derives from the Romans' observation that during a solstice, the sun's position in the sky at noon didn't seem to change much throughout the day, but instead appeared motionless. Astronomically speaking, the summer solstice marks the longest day of the year in the northern hemisphere, the ending of spring and the start of astronomical summer. It takes place between 20th and 22nd June each year. The reason for the shift and the date boiling down to the fact that our calendar doesn't previously reflect the Earth's rotation, and so we have to allow some wiggle room. Both the summer and the winter solstice form part of the wider astronomical calendar, franked by two equinox in the spring and the autumn, and other daily and monthly cycles throughout the year. Incidentally, equinox comes from the Latin equal, meaning equal, equi, meaning equal, and nox, meaning night. On these 2 days, day and night, are the equal length between the days begin to get either lighter in the spring or darker in the autumn. During the solstice, the Earth's axis tilts us at either our closest or farthest point from the sun. The hemisphere tilted most toward the sun sees its longest days and shortest night, the summer solstice, while the hemisphere tilted away from the sun sees its shortest days and longest night, the winter solstice. Prehistoric significance. Now that the sun signs of solstice explain, but just why do we humans place so much significance on the solstice and the days surrounding them? We know that the solstice certainly held importance for Neolithic humans, Neolithic, Neolithic. We may initially have started to observe the summer solstice as a marker for planting and harvesting crops. Stonehenge, our most famous on that inward monument, was certainly built to reflect the solstice, and it has long been debated whether one of its functions was to act as an ancient solar calendar. The site's megaliths are aligned with the direction of the sunrise on the summer solstice, with the serene stones lined up to trace the moments of the sun. It's likely that on the solstice, people gathered at the monument to celebrate, though little archaeological evidence remains of the ceremonies that may have taken place there. Interestingly, there's an actual job amazing. Think that the midwinter solstice may actually have been the more important focus for the builders of Stonehenge. Due, okay, due to entire monuments aligned facing towards the setting mid-water sun. As you enter the site along the main avenue and walk toward the standing stones, the position of the winter solstice sunset is the main focus directly ahead, perhaps in the same way that the most important parts of church are located ahead of you as you enter. Here's the wealth of information on the Stonehenges associated with the solstice on the English Heritage website, and we fully encourage you to fall down that rabbit hole and check it out. The summer solstice throughout history. Our fascination with the solstice didn't end with the Neolithic ancestors. According to some ancient Greek calendars, the summer solstice marked the start of the new year and began the 1 month countdown to the opening of the famous Olympic Games. In the days leading to summer solstice, the Romans celebrated the Vestilla, Vestalia, a religious festival to honor Vesta, goddess of the home and hearth, Hearth. Before the rise of Christianity, Slavic, Germanic, and Celtic tribes celebrated the midsummer with bonfires, believing that they would boost the sun's energy and guarantee a good harvest. It was believed that bonfires could also help banish demons and evil spirits. Following the establishment of Christian church, solstice celebrations were often combined with St. John Baptist Day on the 24th of June, the date of Midsummer Day. NB, the summer solstice and Midsummer Day are actually separate dates, with the later falling on 24th of June. Midday is often, okay, said that. Significance of the solstice in paganism. Today, the celebration of the solstice is mostly strongly associated with paganism. The pagan festival of Lilith, Litha, Lrtha, is one of the most important in the pagan religion. Commencing on the eye of the summer solstice, it celebrates the midsummer and the power of the sun god. Magic is thought to be strongest during the summer solstice, and it's also the time when the veil between this world and the next is at its thinnest. According to pagan folklore, evil spirits in particular may walk the earth more freely at this time, and in order to them off, people wore protective garlands of herbs and flowers. One of the most powerful of these is the chase devil, also known as St. John's wort, because of its associating with St. John's Day. Other summer solstice traditions surrounding the ash. Let me write that down. One summer solstice tradition surround the ashes from the midsummer bonfire, which can be used as protection against misfortune by being formed into an amulet. Ashes. Okay. Are spread across a garden to ensure a good harvest. Sun wheels are used to celebrate midsummer in some pagan communities. A wheel or ball of straw was lit on fire and rolled down a hill into the river. It was believed that if the fire went out before hitting the water, then a good harvest was guaranteed. Local traditions over the centuries, the June solstice has inspired many midsummer celebrations involving bonfires, singing, and maypole dancing. Many towns and villages across Britain still mark the day with fairs and festivals, like the one that takes place on Midsummer Common in Cambridge. Local historian C.F. Tibbet records in his writing a few other local traditions that take place in Huntington Shrine in Buddingham in the late 19th century, and Midsummer Feast was once held with still selling sweets and gingerbread, and a garden hoop hung over the street. Records for Worsley in 1679 recorded the firing of blanks from guns at a midsummer festival intended to scare away fairies and evil spirits. Finally, court records from Salton in 1830 tell of one of Thomas Ward who was brought before a court for walking up and down, distinguished by having a pair of painted ram's horn on his head and a green veil over his face, at the same time also making strange and frightful noises, though through this was actually to do with midsummer celebration is anyone's guess. And there we have it. It can't be denied that the summer solstice is a significant occasion astronomically, spiritually, and historically. However, you choose to mark the day, though we recommend not taking inspiration from Mr. Ward. Be sure to enjoy the longest day to its fullest. Okay, summer solstice, right. The truth about pagan rituals and how they are being used. Today, the term pagan casts a very wide umbrella over many old and new traditions and practices. If you look at the word pagan on its own, it is very simple, refers to a person that follows worship more than one god or goddess. In ancient times, the word was used to describe someone who was country dweller. It was used as a negative term between Christians. Today, I consider pagans to be magical practitioners who use and worship nature in their rituals. They go by different rules than pure Wiccans and all of the other religions, obviously. Of course, modern day Wicca derives its roots from ancient paganism, but it has changed widely over time to the point where Wicca strays from history completely. Some examples of these new practices are the specific Wiccan celebrations held on the Sabbats and Sabbats and Esbats, which com- compromise the wheel of the year, the Wiccan Rede, and the rule of three. The more strict pagans of today study how the ancient practical and track how the specific rituals and beliefs have changed over time. Their goal to practice paganism is as closely as possible to how it began, and whatever tradition resonates with the group. Paganism is probably the most similar to Wicca in terms of rituals themselves. These use consecrated water, bloodless offerings, etc. Both similar modern Wiccan practices. Strict paganism, staying true to history, often incorporates animal sacrifice, where inedible parts of the animal are offered to the goddess and goddesses. This is the greatest difference between Wicca and pagan rituals in my mind. Traditional pagans almost always had the option of bloodletting, including things like sacrification, death magic, and branding. While this is mostly illegal today, some fringe groups still practice these things, and of course, I discourage them. Important disclaimer: spellcasting is more art than science, and even the most gifted magical practitioner will not be successful every time. The spells, rituals, and techniques listed on this site are for entertainment purposes only. You may not get the intended results of any spell, rituals, or technique on this site. Okay, is that it? Yeah. Six summer solstice traditions from around the world. There's something magical about the summer solstice. It's when the sun climbs higher in the sky than any other day of the year, bringing the longest stretch of daylight to the northern hemisphere and marking the official start of summer. What are your solstice plans this year? The summer solstice falls in June 21st, my mom's birthday. She didn't know how special she was. This year is the longest day of the year for the Northern Hemisphere, so anyone living north of the equator gets to enjoy some extra hours of daylight. But the summer solstice is more than just a long enough day to enjoy the to-do list. Most cultures celebrate the summer solstice, referred to as midsummer, okay, established as Litha in some countries. Celebration of the summer equinox, when the spring season officially arrives. Okay, where that? Greeting the rising sun at the Stonehenge. Each year, thousands gather at England's famous Stonehenge to watch the sunset. Stonehenge is an intriguing prehistoric stone cycle which is puzzled, okay, many people. And summer Stonehenge. Read that. Indian people come together for mass yoga lessons at dawn to greet the solstice sun. It's tradition that comes from the belief that it was on summer solstice that the first yoga met his disciples who would help him bring the practice of yoga to different parts of the world. The mass yoga events of summer solstice, some of which are attended by more than 100,000 people, take place in cities across the country. Dance barefoot with flowers in your hair in Sweden. In Sweden, the summer solstice or midsummer is a widely celebrated national holiday with summer songs, crowns of flowers, breezy white dresses, and flowery mid-poles to dance around. Sweden's tradition midsummer festivals seem to come straight from fairy tale. Jump over bonfires in Eastern Europe. Ukraine, Belarus, Poland, Russia, and other Eastern European countries celebrate the summer solstice on Ivan Kupala, Ivankupala, an ancient celebration that revolves around love, romance, Slavic fertility, rites that date back thousands of years. Jumping over bonfires as a common tradition. It's a way for young people to test their bravery, and for couples who jump over the fire holding hands to test their compatibility. Oh, shit. Light up the sky in the Australian Alps. Bonfires are lit on the snow mountaintops of Australia too. The fires are too tall to jump over, but they do offer a spectacular sight. The fires are lit shortly after nightfall, illuminating the mountains, peaks, and slopes across the Australian Alps. Sitting ablaze, the mountain tops is an alpine salty tradition that dates back all the way to Middle Ages. Watching the sun between the pyramids of Egypt. In Cairo, you can catch a unique sunset on the summer solstice. The sun sets previously between the two main pyramids. And that's not all. If you stand near the Sphinx as you watch the solstice sunset, the sultries of the setting sun between the two pyramids looks exactly like the hieroglyphy for horizon. There's no way to know for sure, but it's thought that the ancient Egyptians deliberately aligned the pyramids with the sun. In any case, the view is absolutely magical. Okay. Okay, that's before I get the top level. Okay, yes it is. Okay, I guess I will go back for a minute. Mental health calls to keep your slaves, all males clones, IAAI. Let me see. Do I have it on here? It was yesterday. Let's see. Okay, I read them. Okay. Oh, this one. Okay, I want to read about Lilith right quick. She got a lot to do with this too. Okay. Demon mother. They said demon goddess, mother of demons, mother of demons. Origins of early history. Lilith was already old at the dawn of humanity. Her origins lost to hazy myth. Fallen angel. One story tells how Lilith began as a member of the heavenly host, wife of Samuel, Samael, who became Satan. Lilith and Samuel are more often quoted Lucifer, led the rebellion against heaven, but lost, and were cast down into hell, along with Lucifer. Asmodeus, Asmodeus, and Pazuzu, among others, with Samuel as a failure. Lilith abandoned him to seek her own future. Lilith's origin as a heavenly host member who sided alongside Satan against heaven is the version of Vatican Standby. First woman. According to her own tale, Earth was once populated with women who were all passion and all men were lust. An Earth god, seemingly Yahweh, crushed that world and plucked two souls whom he rebirthed on a recreated Earth where passion was chained and innocence set free. He created the man Adam and the woman Lilith. In her tale, Lilith states that after leaving Adam, she went to the devil, seemingly Samuel, but by her own account, Mephisto, with whom she conceived many children. The devil eventually grew bored with her and cast her out of hell. Daughter of Aer and or Ahriman. Boy, okay. Alternate, alternate, it is also alleged that Lilith's father were Aer and or Arman, Ahriman, and it's possible that she was the cousin of Pazuzu through Aer. Lilith also had Shekhinah, Shekhinah, Naamah, Lulu, Ardat, and Irdu as sisters. These tales contradict each other, but it is unknown whether Lilith lied about being born human or if the stories included her in the war of heaven are false. Even Thor and Valkyrie are uncertain of her true nature and origin. The rise of humanity. Lilith seduced Adam, the first man, allegedly becoming his first wife, and produced many children by him, collectively known as the Mazikim. She found Adam's companionship obsessive in time and abandoned him. Three purported angels murdered most of the Mazikim in response, and a grief-stricken Lilith fled to the demon cities near the Red Sea. Bitter towards humanity for her losses, Lilith vowed that humanity would suffer forever at the hands of her future children. Another account states that self-proclaimed angels slaughtered most of her children, causing Lilith to vow that her line would be dominated. Lilith infiltrated humanity throughout its early days, sometimes appeared as a goddess, sometimes as a mortal or sorceress. She was active at Atlantis 20,000 years ago, opposing the origin order of the Midnight Suns. She may have been part of Renee's original sector of dark holders, responsible for creating the first vampires. She may have been the mother of some of the ancient. She was imprisoned inside the corpse of the dragon like Tiamat, the Leviathan, by Atlantean Megs, prone to fall of Atlantis, which occurred approximately 18,000 BC, which she survived. It's unclear whether she was actually present on the continent when it occurred. Another account states that allegedly her remains were scattered across the earth by the three angels, Senoi, Senoy, Sansenoy, and Semangol, also known as Sansavi, and Semangeleaf. Despite both those accounts, her dismembered life essence was free to wander on earth. Therefore, it's possible many of her later actions were performed by her wandering spirit while her body remained trapped. So do a lot to the women. As the gods of Atlantis were forbidden, Lilith secret herself among the Mesopotamian gods known as Anunnaki. Some sources specify that Lilith became one of the Lithu, Lilitu, a race of female wind demons afflicted with the Anunnaki who terrified children and women while seducing young men. Are terror, women. Trioratd into a storm demon in the desert beyond the Euphrates, abducting unbaptized children and visiting men in their dreams. As centuries passed, Lilith ruled many kingdoms directly, though her lovers or through her children. She dedicated much of her time to conceiving powerful lines of children, including the Lilian and Djinn, the incubi, INCUB, and the succubus. Her lovers, husbands, and of course, concourse supposedly included the angel Shehazai, Shemhazia, the fertility god Attis, the Olympian god Zeus, and possibly even the Judo Christian god. At some point, as Miss Lamashtu, she was prevented by her fellow underworld demon god, fallen angel, and hated rival Pazuzu from escaping Irkla and traveling to the earth. Damn, girl, you got a bad rep or something. I don't know. All the women in here is like, you're beautiful and nice, you get fucked over. You're beautiful and bad, you get messed over. You don't do a damn thing, you get messed over. You get raped, you get messed over. God damn. She was prevented by her fellow underworld demon god, fallen angel, and hated rival Pazuzu from escaping Irkla and traveling to Earth to threaten pregnant women and newborn babies. Her enemies included many famous figures, some of whom were also tricked into fathering more children for her. She opposed, she, damn, how many children she had? Come on, y'all. I don't know. This seemed like, man, you just fucking with women. Period. Hello.
Shane said, "Do you have a solid dollar for 4 quarters?"
Oh,
Okay.
All right. I mean, I'm a woman and I know we don't be thinking like that. I mean, come on now. She opposed Gilgamesh circa 3000 BC and Job. Over 2 millennium later, she challenged Solomon, banished of demons, including the Lilith, supposedly while disguised as her daughter, the Queen of Sheba. Lilith conceived by Solomon. Decades later, she bedeviled the prophet Elijah. Over the millennium later, she reigned in the ruins of Rome and sworn the death of all newborns of humanity, or so the stories say, right? In the 12th century in Asia, Lilith was trapped in a bottle by a midwife. A century later, Joseph della Reina thought to summon the Messiah by battling Lilith and her latest consort, the demon Ashmodus, her fellow heaven cast out, with whom she swarmed countless demonic offspring. Many of them were slain by the ancients of heaven, and Rena was easily defeated and transformed into a dog. In the 18th century, Rabbi Elimelekh challenged Lilith and escaped unshattered, unscathed, whatever. Unscathed, modern days. Okay. Physical restoration. In modern days, Lilith emerged from the body of Tiamat, who had settled in northern Greenland. She murdered a group of scientists led by Dr. Philip Henderson and Dr. Adam Brigman that had come to inspect the strange creature. Wishing to learn the fate of her Lillian children in about modern world, she began scouring and discovering they were mostly dead. She summoned them, but only Pilgrim answered the call. Opposing the modern heroes, Lilith attempted to seduce Dan Ketch in his dreams. After that attempt failed, she asked Nightmare to attack both him and John Pilgrim. Okay, and to attack John Blaze. She set Fang after Morbidus assassins to murder Victoria Montes and tricked the Night Stalkers into attacking Blaze and Ketch. She and her Lillian increased their attacks as dimensional barriers protecting Earth weakened. The Midnight Suns joined forces to oppose them. Learning of Centurus, she sought him out and formed an alliance with him. The alliance lasted until the arrival of Zeratus, Zrathos, who had been trapped with Centurus. Zeratus was freed and manipulated into joining Lilith, and they conceived a child. And Lilith and Zephyros were banished to Shadowside, but Lilith remained pregnant and awaiting the birth of Zephyros' child, whatever his name. Lilith was among those weakened by the Hellphyr, Hellphyr. Lilith witnessed Doctor Strange's gathering of the witches and produced a Lillian to attack them. In his tour to warn mystics of the danger, Strange passed by Lilith to warn her he knew she was up to something and that she should not approach his proteges. Despite the warning, Lilith knew Lilith attacked the girls and was destroyed by Jennifer Kale. She later attacked Dr. Strange herself. Lilith was later imprisoned extradimensionally by Fairy King Oberon, in the universe where supernatural evil came from, along with other evils such as Satanism, Cyttorak, Umar, and Emmy Merlin. Secret invasion. During the Skull invasion, Merlin was able to cause MI-13 operated Peter Wisdom to open the interdimensional nexus to release them all. They immediately set out to conquer Betam, the first step being to kill at Skulls or Avalon, then to fulfill their debt to wisdom. All skills represent arrival on Britain, Vampire Nation. As well as Captain Fate, Lilith soon aligned herself with Dracula in his plot to conquer Britain and became a Viscountess of the Vampire Nation. Her participation included creating a vampire's base on the moon, providing it with a shield keeping out the radiation, including solar rays, and enlarging of the new serpent's crown, the vampire flag. Dracula sent vampires to attack M13, Operative Blade, and Captain Britain with the purpose of destroying Quincy Harker's skull, who prevented the vampires from entering. I'm gonna stop that. Vampires from entering British prevented vampire from entering British Britain without invitation, and Lilith was able to provide magical backup to those vampires. Due to their brain alterations, the skull, or rather a replica, was destroyed. When the vampires finally launched their assault on Britain, Lilith used her powers to cast a barrier isolating Britain, but was then engaged in battle by Captain Britain. Once Captain Fate died, and without his curse, the excuse me, the new serpent's crown started to break up and was held together only by Lilith. Lilith engaged Captain Britain as he re-entered the ship to recover Megan, who had just been delivered to Dracula by Dr. Doom. The vampire army started bursting in flames as they were trying to enter Britain uninvited. As Captain Britain plotted unveiled, Dracula ordered Lilith to stop fighting and retreat. So her shields may keep protecting the few surviving vampires who retreated to the castle on the moon but were pursued by Megan and Captain Britain, who focused on Lilith until she was repelled to hell. Steve Rogers escaped her to try to take advantage of the vampire specs turmoil following Dracula's assassination. War in Hell. During the War in Hell cast by the disappearance of death, Lilith aligned with MEPHISTO, waging a war in hell against other demon lords, including Santana, Pluto, and Satanism, while her Lilith were successful against Satanist legend. She criticized the efficiency of MEPHISTO's tormented generals, powers, and abilities. Power grid. Intelligence, strength, speed, duration, power, status, related powers. Lilith's powers have fluctuated with her status as an angel, demon, or goddess. During her time in prison with Thomas Corpse, her disembodied life essence was free to wander on Earth. She currently possesses the typical superhuman strength, enduring and durability of Mesopotamian god, and is immune to aging and conventional disease, sorcery. She has vast knowledge of magical lore, which originated with her, and extension of occult knowledge. She has demonstrated different spells and powers. Blast, she can produce blasts of green energy, enough to repel Captain Britain. She can create protective walls of mystic energy. She can kill via invisible force. Teleportation, she can teleport. Radiation shield, Lilith was able to produce radiation shields protecting the vampires from sunlight. Vision, conjuration, divination, she can conjure visions of distant events, notable in using beast entrails. The full extent of her powers and ability remains undetermined. Offspring's related powers. Lilith can spur Lilith through normal conception with other beings or on her own. Reshape beings into Lilith, creating new Lilith from occult energy or from nothingness, or using the souls of her victims. She can summon Lilith from other dimensions, allowing them to return to Earth via rebirth through portals in her body. Lilith gains power relative to the number of Lilith spawn existing. She can also absorb the life essence of her offspring races, whom she can mentally connect across incalculable distances, derive them to replenish herself, and later respond them, RESPAWN abilities. Very knowledgeable in magic and the occult. Physical strength. She possesses the typical superhuman strength of Mesopotamian goddess, which is for any average goddess. They're lifting about 25 tons. Notes, although being closely afflicted to the vampires, Lilith seemingly isn't one. She was called a vampire or something on the list a few occasions, or was speculated to possibly be one. Wow. Okay. Something. I don't know how we got to Lilith, but uh, it's heading to what I want. But I'm going to stop here and come back. Okay, Cancer and Cappy. I know that was all over the place. But we'll go ahead and do your reading. Okay. Lily got a bad rap. Okay. All the women did. God dang. Definitely true about the Anunnaki being men. And like men. And when they seen the women that produce, I think that's the only reason why they went with them, to make more men. Because it's a culture where they come and go to bed with the women and they have the children. That's today. And they come at a certain time to get the kids and educate them. I don't know if they only take the boys or who they take. And then they bring them back for a mission. It's some culture that the fallen angels come and get. They say it's aliens, but I don't believe that. I think it's fallen angels, and they all have their own planet. You know, that's my thinking only. Okay. Cancer and Cappy, what's up? Got dog. Huh? Okay, let's see. That was a lot. Let's see what they want to tell y'all. Okay. Okay, flying out. Okay. Summer solstice. We got the summer solstice and we got the eclipse. So first we got the hermit. Going inside, soul searching, finding the deep, being deep. Because that's water and earth. So both of y'all deep, period. And that's Virgo card, right? I think y'all lonely to a certain extent. unattached, soul searching, time needed, or time alone. Okay, then we have the Ace of Cups, security, helping hand. So this is something that y'all definitely want. So this mess with y'all, and it's gonna be some problems. Both of y'all love y'all peace, especially Cancer. I done dated enough and got siblings and friends to know that they got to have their peace. High Priestess, either you overly doing this or you're not using your intuition. So I don't know as far as not finding all your gifts. That's probably why you're soul searching to know more about yourself. So make sure you be secure in what you're doing. So you're digging deep. Okay, then we got Two of Pentacles, first deacon Capricorn, Jupiter. Money confusion, juggling two situations or two ideas. This is probably two ideas. Or it could be people. Okay. But deciding, undecided on which way to go, or maybe have more than one business plan to make money, business ideas. Some people are implementing it and some people are stagnant. Um, so yeah, to be two romantic endeavors. Okay. So there we go right behind it, the lovers. So figuring out which one you want, which one you want to mess with. And that could be either one of y'all, because Cancer and Capricorn, let's be real. Okay. The women and the men are after you. Okay. It says Gemini. Might be a Gemini. I don't know. So catch you if you can to get settled. Some people want to get settled and married. Some people don't. Okay. So this is somebody might be on an adventure. Going to me it looked like different countries, finding out different secrets. Um, ancient times, different times, the dark, the deep. It could be you more. I ain't gonna put out Cancer, but it could be you more Capricorn, going deep to find some ways to stay secure, to keep your whatever you have, knowledge of this. So you probably digging deep into ancient knowledge, kind of sort of what I'm doing. I guess you're on a quest maybe to find out who you are, or if you know who you are, get more power. That's what I'm seeing right here. To get more power to rule the masses. I'm not going to lie, that's what I see. To rule the masses. Um, because what you require, I forgot about Elon Musk, Sylvester Stallone, a whole bunch of people, cancers. Yeah, what you require for your stability, I see immortality as well. I see somebody is going for immortality, purity, and that comes from the Virgin Virgo. Finding out more about that. When you find out, let me know, okay? Just a little something. Um, some may not care about, dying and come back and reincarnated. Some do. Because it's a waste of time. Why you got to come back unless if you come back with the same knowledge in a new body. But if I'm gonna come back and you erase my knowledge in a new body and I have to start over, what's the point? Unless it's to be enslaved, like we've been talking about, to work for the masses, right? So somebody is mixing elixirs. I see this also as elixirs. They're finding like the true water. I did a thing on the waters and stuff that were pure, um, healing. Okay. And that got to do with Pisces and this Cancer. Okay. Because Pisces knows all, has everybody in them, right? So she should know ancient knowledge from this. That's Virgo's opposite. So y'all saw not some high priestess or priest probably going to Haiti, um, like I got New Orleans, Africa, Benin. Benin is a place I was going to talk about that. I'm gonna have to talk about it on the next one. It's getting too long. Parts in Africa, and this is like the crossroads. So we got Papa Legra right here, right? And there's some other high priestesses as well, and high priest. Was looking at that the other day. Let's see. Yeah, your money is unstable. You don't like that. King of Pentacles, King of Swords. Cold, abusive, demands respect. Yeah, you don't like the disrespect to this money situation and living the life of luxury that you want to live. And I think Elon Musk is trying to get Twitter, so he don't like their response. He on a whole nother level. Okay, but anyway, yeah. See what I'm saying? Either somebody try to send some things to you, you recognize it, and it's like baseball, hit that shit back to where it belongs. But you're going deep and finding out your bloodline. But why the depression here? Because of the money? That why you going deep? First Deacon Scorpio Mars. I got you in your feelings. Because this is very important to y'all. Mm. Yeah, going off on a journey. Uranus air. So that means out the box, period. Telling you. Y'all thinking out the box, period. Because I got Cancer and I got Capricorn. Well, everything is in a lot in Capricorn in the 10th house. Now I got to look at my whole chart again in Vedic and Draconian. But taking a chance, going on a quest. Moving in silence, whoever this is, know the language, or you might have one of them machines that could tell you what people saying, and you could tell it back to the culture, the language, or some of y'all well versed in that, in the language. Taking a chance, eating off the land, because he got like a plan in his hand. So knowing the Mother Nature's plans, how to survive. This remind me of Batman, the one where he went off and found the elders, the immortal beings on the top of that mountain. I don't know if y'all remember. I love Batman. Remember, he went way on a mountain with a lot of snow, and he found the elders, and they taught him so much. They still followed him after certain other things happened, but they taught him a lot of things, and how he got stronger as being Batman. Yeah. So you need strength. Leo. Four Wands, happy home, possible country setting. It's either your place, what you want, how you want to live, which probably correct, with someone who gets you, or this somewhere you visiting in one of these countries or one of these cities to find out more knowledge. I can't wait to do this. Knight of Wands. Mike can't travel by car to where you're going. That's why he's walking, right? So I don't know if your car broke or need repair. Probably minor. Yeah, because you don't know who your bloodline. Maybe some of y'all know who your dad's side is. Maybe some moms not telling everybody who they are, more about them, because I sure want to know my grandma's side. I do not know my dad's side a lot. And it's making me feel incomplete. I know that she was Haitian. Why was she adopted? Why did she leave? Why did she end up in Louisiana from Haiti? You know, I got some questions. And most of that led back to Africa, which it led back to America, because a lot of that was combined until the separation. Different things happened in the earth and it separated. Putting your guard down, cold heart, demanding authority. This the feminine energy. Using both of your masculine energy, right? Have to for this journey. Because both of y'all are feminine energy. Two of Cups, peace of mind, joining of the two. Congratulations, we're getting married. But I think this more about finding who you are so you can be complete. See, that's my quest for I got that. The tribes. Isaac children of tribes. It's the 13 tribes. It's 13, not just 12. But they always keep the woman out. Y'all feminine energy. They always keep the woman out. And that has something to do with something. And who's ruling that? The world. You might be going underworld. And y'all can both do it. Especially you, Cappy. That's it right here. You can do that. And this could be on the internet, deep dark web, whatever you need to do. Find out more information to whatever you're trying to do. Or find out. You have death, because Scorpio come into play, transformation, um, avoiding death, immortality, resurrection. See them plants? See, we missing some plants. We missing that 13 natal on a natal chart. Zodiac sign, a fucus, means so much. That's a woman. They try to change that to a man. See, they just got through this born Lilith, this born of Medusa, which is a fucus, um, this born Andromeda. None of them winning. It's like they always got to be rescued by somebody, always got to be downplayed, hex on. You know what I'm saying? Medusa, I mean, Lilith, the bad. That's, I read through the comic thing, but to me, this is Lilith, 13 sign. So it's also says Scorpio, it's between Scorpio and Sagittarius. So they want, this is the woman, feminine energy again, turn upside down. And High Priestess. All three feminine energy. Because that's the answer in the feminine energy. But you have to go through the masculines first because that's how they got it set up. That makes sense. The Vatican got jars, um, vases, closed up tombs, different things marked with different deities, different creatures, different monsters that they know how to put the spell in order to jar them or whatever. I don't know what this eclipse gonna do. This polar shift, summer solstice. But if they get out, that's their ass. Because they're going to be on their ass. All the sodomizing and the disrespect and abuse of witchcraft, voodoo, disrespecting of all of that they've been doing. Lay your burdens down. That's where you're going. Dr. Sabi had a place for purification. It's all over the world. Okay. It said also be a bonfire, like they were talking about, right? Is that a fire sign? Yeah, that's a fire sign too. Ten of Wands. Came right behind it, the sun. Fire, marriage. Okay, that could be to relationship. Maybe finding out why you do what you do. You know, why people do what they do. Who controlling us, which we know now. We have a couple of them. I haven't finished reading a lot more than that. Not just the Anunnaki. Different countries, different places have different stuff. Battling for our souls. Slavery. Abuse of our bodies. Mind. Mental status. The whole nine thing just fucking with us, right? And I believe that there were humans here to live here on earth that they mingled with. Can't tell me that they made them. Now they may have made some clones. I'm gonna read that. I'm not gonna get ahead of myself. Now we got Three of Wands, fire sign again, Aries, the lighter. Hello. That's gonna light all this shit. Y'all keep it burning. Think Aries lighted. I bring the stuff to play. I'm gonna say Leo lighted because that's the sun. And Sag keep it going. I think that's how it go. Okay. The bonfire. Sitting back watching. They don't want you to know that. So light you some incense, light you some fire pits. If you're in a place to get bonfires, do a bonfire, talk to your ancestors. Wherever you're at, get more information. I don't know if you're out and about in the woods or wherever going on your journey. This could be out in the woods as well. Okay. Yeah. Find a way to trap things you need to eat or whatever the deal may be. Five of Swords. I don't know. I just feel like you're on a journey. Tower. Verse. Avoiding the tower. Somebody avoiding death or avoiding, wanting mortality because we're not supposed to die. They lying. Doing up and using us. And you figured that out. And this eclipse, they gonna take people out. I was talking about the kings, the leaders, the worst sacrificing of the child or the animal, the woman, certain bloodlines that's coming up. Just thought about they don't want us to do anything for the eclipse. No rituals or nothing, but I don't know. Because so far I read they do. They want us to accept four swords. Yeah. To lay down and accept it. Hmm. Female again. Want you to be wild and erratic. Just mess with women. How they say, program them to get like 12 women pregnant. And what's his name? He is definitely programmed. The one who's married to Mariah Carey. If he ain't programmed, and the silly women who getting pregnant from, y'all do y'all thing. That man is programmed to the max. Libra. This is Aries to me of reverse, but it's disrespect of the woman. Still more to come. Somebody's searching the truth. Why is this happening? Might even talk to the anaconda. The anaconda. Interesting. The Anunnaki. Well, same thing almost, right? Somebody living in the past, thinking about childhood, dad, or what happened, or what could happen, or what youthful back. And that's not for everybody, okay? I don't know if you lost a baby or something, my condolences, or you want, maybe you're going to clean your system out to get a baby. Go and see the high priestess or the priest. I think the high priest would be better, the midwife, living among them for a while to clear your system of all of shit that's been put in there and the programming. Okay, yeah, Seven of Wands, going with their rituals. I say this rituals, this a ritual as well to me. Have to drink certain things, bathe in the purified water. Um, yeah, because you're frustrated. Whatever this is, this is probably to a couple of people's journey, but you're not getting pregnant. And you want to know why. Is it the curse on your family? Maybe it's a bloodline thing. Maybe don't have a child till a certain age. Maybe only a few have children. I don't know. Whatever. Always miscarriage, stuff like that. And the regular way wants you to always get an operation. Always messing with your insides, and you want to go another way. So you traveling to see, to do, to learn different cultures, different tribes, stuff like that. Yeah, have to go on feet to certain parts. Yeah, we got this reverse again. Visit a message to share. No phones, nothing. Going on a quest to meet whoever this is. King of Cups. One of the tribe leaders. Because you're not accepting what they're telling you. You know it's deeper than that. Got to do with your bloodline. Yeah. Karma. You want justice. You want to know what is the karma. Oh, that's a horrible judge as well. A lawyer, what they call it, probation officer, whatever. Yeah, you took the blinders off and you ready to go on your journey. Probably moving, or they moved already in your place. Maybe you settled. Maybe you now can think. what you need to do next. Knowing your dark and light side, why you did this, why you did that, ancestors, whatever, dad, mom, what's going on. Yeah, temperance, testing the waters, going on your journey, getting grounded, balancing yourself out, protected. Congratulations on the raise. Maybe you had help in whatever you were doing. Okay. Somebody young coming to offer you something. This might be your kids. Or tired of might be childlike, whatever, but I think it's more your children. Teaching them, really getting settled and figuring out what you want in life. If you're not married yet, what that entails, what type of person, or why you messed up, why you had so many partners, you know, if you're sickly, finding out the reason why, can't have kids, whole lot of things going on right here. Going on a journey, finding something deep, going to other cultures, other countries, find out who your tribe is, who the healing tribes are, go and talk to the head person, sending masters, finding out about immortality. I think a lot of things, yeah. You want victory. There we go. Another meal, masculine energy. Man, all the feminine energy just put down. Stabilizing influence in your life. Arguing, fussing, maybe around you. Maybe remove that, or just debating, networking, male bonding. Could be sports, could be watching sports, um, horse sports, all kind of stuff. Great Britain, different cultures. It's different cultures. Asian. Maybe find out you were Asian. Um, your ancestry. Yeah, judgment. Okay, so found that out. What making you stronger? Here come the Queen of Pentacles. Getting your money on track, getting your mind right, healing yourself, rising up to another level, using your feminine energy to make money. You know your future, you know where you're going now. Restless, outspoken, ambitious. Okay. And you got find out all the secrets and dealing with it. Whoever came against you, or was it a curse on your family? Was it a curse on you? Who's doing the voodoo? Y'all can see. Y'all know. If y'all been doing it, whoever, take it how it go. Because y'all looking for happiness. Bottom line. I don't know if you figured out, you gay or just want to be happy. Family, children, and live as long as you possibly can, healthy and strong. Find out the tricks of the world. Yeah. Loving yourself more and unconditional love. Get grounded though, because you ungrounded. Being loyal. Congratulations if you found out how to have your baby now. You know? Picking the right doctor or whatever it is. This is a lot of children, y'all. I don't know if you had twins and you lost one. My condolences. I'm sorry. But it's got to do with fortune. Maybe we're just building it back up. Or the lost children or something. Both reserves. I don't know if it's got to do with you and being indecisive. Are they messing with your mind? Throwing you off? One minute you're stable, one minute you're not. Getting it right, then they come through and mess with your brain. You're on your path, going through obstacles. You got the key to apartment, house, car, whatever, or got the idea. You know what you need to do. You know the rats, being sneaky, stealing, Somebody calling, mail, package, whatever the deal may be. They're gonna moon, Cancer. So feminine energy again. Man reverse. Feminine energy hit it. Ancestors start growing things from the bottom to the top, top to the bottom. Time for change. Start a new chapter in your life. All these snakes. Or have you been a snake? Discovering that, I don't know, it's all over the place. We figure out which one is your story. Anaconda, I did say that. Anunnaki. You're on your ass because you got that feminine energy back. But you ain't got nothing to worry about. You're going to try to stop your leveling up. At the moon. Again, with Scorpio. Let's see. Number 8. The balance. Capricorn. Justice. Equilibrium. Son of the earth, that to be victorious over thyself and dominate obstacles is but a part of the human task. To accomplish it entirely, thou must establish equilibrium between the forces that thou hast brought into play. All actions produce reactions. The will should foresee the shock of opposite forces in order to temper and amure them. The will should foresee the shock of opposite forces in order to temper and amue them. If the balance appears, it signifies that the future is balanced between good and evil, and warns that an unbalanced mind is like an aborted sun. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Too much in your head. Not all of y'all, just some of y'all. Okay. Number 20. Awakening and resurrection reversed. That was upright before. Somebody messing with you, somebody messing with your mind. Could be the Anunnaki. Could be people around you that they put around you in place to keep you low vibrational. These low vibrational people. Stop letting people in your circle. Awakening and resurrection. That all fortune is changeable, even that which appears most stable. The ascension of the soul is a fruit that it should draw from its successive trials. Hope in suffering, but mistrust thyself in prosperity. Fall not asleep, either in idleness or forgetfulness, for thou hast a mission to accomplish, which provided will reveal when thou art prepared to receive it. Okay, this could be ups and downs in life. Okay, you get the money, something happens, you have to use it, job, the economy, shifts, whatever. Then you get back up, but you still have to watch the company you keep. Got number 1, the magician, will and dexterity, magus and the magician. That man should, like God, act without ceasing. To will nothing and to do nothing is more fatal than to do will and do ill. If the matter should appear in the prophetic sign, it announces that a firm will and faith in yourself, guided by reason and a love of justice, will conduct you to the end that you wish to attain and will proceed with from the perils of the way. I don't know why I got it's like, yeah, you that's the way they had the matrix set up, but you don't think it should be like that. It should be up and down of your money, up and down of your stability, up and down of your security. You don't think that. That's why you go and dig deep and go and do what you do. This is for whoever it might be. Then we have number 7, Devil Virgo of Swords. News of sickness or death sword. So this reverse. Yeah, tell you looking for immortality. You're silent about it. Too much talk. Too much in history. A man should die. A man should this. I don't know. It's wild for you. 18 the moon. False friends and secret foes. See? Deception. Remember the son of the earth that whosoever braves the unknown does so at his peril. Hostile minds figured by the black dog will surround him with ambushes. Friendly surveyor minds will offer him flatteries, and treacherous minds, like unto the scorpion, will plan to attain their ends through his ruin. Observe and listen, but know how to be silent. What is that? Not talking, it's moving silently. So you thought, watch you be around. Sorry, y'all, all over the place, but trying to get to information that's needed. You are ready. You are already rich. Just need it in your hand or bank account. Silver bullions. All black gold. Manifest it's yours. May your pockets always stay full of money. Find a way to keep on loving your family. Create. Oh, I am.
I watched the last first movie where they shoot world and all that.
Oh, really? Uh-uh.
The first movie where they had they sound the alarm and you got 12 hours to kill right through it.
Yeah, I seen this one.
Yeah, so I just watched the last one and they did the first. They sounded the alarm, but it's 12 hours and after they sounded again for them to stop. But they planned it to the point where they can purge after the alarm sound, so they killed everybody. And come to find out, America had to Mexico open their arms to America so they can get. They was like, oh, we'll accept Americans with no arms, no firearms, no weapons. So basically, what I'm saying is that America has to go to Mexico to help them.
That's that. I'm seeing some of that now. See the beauty in everything. Be humble with cleverness and pride. I come with a warning. Breaking news. Time for new choices. They're joking. Be appreciative. Germs, wash hands. Draw. Natural born leaders, the trendsetters. That's y'all. New beginnings. Cardinal signs, both of y'all. They will try to take over your body, using you and your family. You decide why. Control is one, or to punish you or someone else. Money issues. Sickly parents to take care of. Or maybe you're going to get a healing for a parent. Okay, find a cure. No more making a man hate woman and vice versa, even his or her mother who is good to them. See what I'm saying? The secret of magic that's for all of us to know. Lying saying it's good or bad is necessary. No more using the chakra in children under 12 to keep you youthful. A lot of kids killing the kids or taking it out, and now they are lost. Stop the kids who put spells on other kids. There's something going on with the kids. No more taxes on Mother Earth, on nature. It's not no one's to own. We only borrow her beautiful place. Thief. Do you feel protected? Lost their or your memory, Alzheimer's. Look for ways to heal. That's what I was talking about. Elderly, set up or spell work. Yeah, indecisive. Putting spells on kids at school and churches. Perform exorcism, but put protection on them from wound. On you first, then them. You will have no problem. Teach them from home. If can, you can. See, something going on. The truth about all Bibles in all cultures, how they go together, and many lies, feeding us lies. Mhm. Centuries. Mama dearest. Mm. I like only black women and men. Which is on. Train. Come ride a little train. Your movie deal went through. They want to work with you. Wouldn't let go. I got train again. You got two trains. Hmm. Okay. Ouch. We got products, make crystals products. We got civilizations to believe in a afterlife. They believe that a second self called the Kalo, live within every human being, comes from the Greek meaning Wikate, an ancient Egyptian MER, spiritual, being able to reach to higher realms, the Orgone pyramids, crystal clusters, for the chemtrails to block white, color white, from your home and to wear for protection. White, weddings, hospitals, angels, purity, cleanliness, peacefulness, Eastern culture, death and sickness, virginity, innocence, birth, light, purity, youth, happiness, harvest, love, benevolence, energy, softness, radiance, brilliance, transcendent, release, illumination, encouragement and protection, calm, peace, hope, comfort, fresh, negative, blank, slate, cold, stark, isolated. Mm. Well, that's what I have, y'all. Sorry, it's all blah, blah, blah. But I'm still trying to find answers, okay? More to this stuff. Layers of onion flapping. All right, this your girl, Root. I hope I helped in some type of way. Like, subscribe, share, and comment. I really appreciate it. And love y'all.